Alright, so we're going to talk about this a little bit. This piece of crap, Zeb Skip, has ruined 2 PBs for me in the last 2 days, and some before that. So I've looked at a bunch of videos, different tutorials, different runs, different, everything, and tried to figure out the way that people were approaching it. And the strat, if you're using screw attack, is to down back onto the Zeb. And then flip through it. Unfortunately, it's kind of inconsistent a lot of times, and nobody's really explained any sort of a setup for it that is consistent. People have shown off, hey, this is how I approach the freezing and the jumping through, but I've never actually seen anybody mention where to stand in this room or anything like that. So I spent some time figuring stuff out, and this is what I came up with. A lot of the top 100% runs that do it, they come down, they hit the door, and then they immediately run in. So I started approaching it from this close rather than back here. I was doing it from back here in the hopes that I could get a short charge as a backup, but I'm not very good at that, and anyway, it just wasn't really working out. So I started approaching it from here. There's also a video on Crocomire that says, if you time the shot correctly, you don't even have to do a down back. I have had that experience a few times, but it seems like it's really difficult to make it happen consistently, and at least for me, and the 100% runs, from what I can tell, are still using a down back with that kind of a setup. So I stand here, I line up my back roughly with the back of this pole thing right here in the background, and I have a couple different setups for it. So this one, I act like I'm doing a one tap as I enter the room. So I push forward and then I hold run. Hit this, down back onto it, jump through. That, I missed that setup there, but okay. So, line up your back with this pole and walk forward and then run. And don't fail at it the way that I am. One thing that I am noticing is that it seems to matter how much you're pushing back in the down back. if you like just barely have the edge of your thumb on it, it doesn't seem to take for me. And I know that seems weird, but that's just... Get a good, like, fat grip on it. Also, I mean, obviously I'm not the greatest at following my own advice, but it seems like you want to focus on holding down first. Make sure that you are indeed, like, moving down, and then push back. Also, if you miss it initially, it seems like you have a pretty decent chance of still getting it while the room is still shaking, but it seems, to me, it seems a lot harder to get it after the room stops shaking. So it might be better just to reset the room and save yourself some time. But yeah, I mean, like, look at this. It's pretty freaking consistent if you perform it correctly. I had one other setup that kind of happened on accident. So I'm gonna try and show that off a little bit. But basically, you damage boost through the room. Woo! And then you freeze this. Oops, not like that. See, but it's still, like, the whole point of these setups is to try and avoid the subpixel placement that was causing me grief. Okay, that didn't work, so I'm just gonna go for it. Also, usually when it's this high, it won't work. See, I should have just reset the room. So don't waste your time. Anyway, damage boost. Woo! Didn't work. Did work. And that is pretty consistent as well. Usually it will work in the first or second time that I try with the damage boost. And even if you don't make, like, if you end up down here or whatever, like, it's still worth trying. There's a way that you can take damage there that won't knock you down. Okay, so like now, since the room has stopped, I should just be resetting the room. Not that it will never work, because it definitely does sometimes. But see that? That's kind of what I was going for the other times. And it seems like you can make that type of a damage boost, or damage non-boost happen being under the Rinka too, but I have better luck just trying to land on top of it. The Rinka that's floating down from the top. Also, it's probably a good idea to have a policy of how many failed attempts you're willing to take before you just pause and take off screw attack. Man. Okay, so like that time, notice how the second downback took. I subconsciously like made an effort to push more back on the D-pad, and it worked that time. Like, it could just be luck, but it could be a legit thing too. Same thing happened right there. Anyway, I personally like the first setup more than the damage boost, but each their own. Damage boost is pretty fast, most of the time, if you can get it to work. Remember to push hard on back. And get those world records, right? Or at least personal bests. Man. If you can time the shot correctly, it seems to be pretty dang consistent. Like, if it's not 100%, it's gotta be close. Anyway, I'll just do this until my health is down, and then we'll call that good. Or if I make it through the zap, then I can't practice it anymore, so... Notice this one is higher, and it still let me through. Didn't let me through the second time, but just saying. Don't give up on it necessarily just because it's not in the exact spot that it starts. It will sometimes still work. Yep. And there's evidence that you can get through after the room has stopped shaking. It's just, the question is whether it was worth it to wait. And the answer is usually going to be no. So. Alright,